what a sensational last half hour it's been. You can see the track is still wet as these KF Junior carts form up out on the circuit. The rain has stopped, fortunately. The wind has died off. But the racetrack here at La Conca Muro Lecese is still very, very wet indeed. Vega wet tyres for all these drivers. 34 of the best KF Junior drivers in the world assembled here for the opening round of the WSK Champions Cup. We'll be back here in 7 days' time, of course, as will your pole sitter be. That's number 327, him on screen now, all the way from the USA, Logan Sargent for Ricky Flynn Motorsport. Christian Lundgaard from Denmark, driving for Ward Racing, has been superb throughout the weekend. That's the front row of the grid, Sargent and Lundgaard. From China, we have Sun Yu Yang alongside the Brazilian Felipe Drugovic. Kush Maini from India, that's Yu Yang Sung on screen now. Kush Maini from India starts out of position number 5. Alongside yet another Dane, Frederic Vesti. That's Drugovic from Brazil. Think of the drivers Brazil have produced over the years. The likes of 1998 world champion, Ruben Carapatoso. Of course, Augusto Farfus, former world champion with Tony Kart. That's the Indian for Forza Racing, the same team that we just saw Igor Stupenkov driving for. Forza Racing, Kush Maini on a mission. We saw the first Indian driver ever on a World Karting Championship podium a few months ago with Johan Daruvalla. That's Frederic Vesti from Denmark in the prolific energy kart. 5-minute board goes up from the grid girls. From France, we have Jean-Baptiste Simon-Roy. The plain white helmet will be easy to make him out on this very wet track. Most of the drivers switching to a wet weather race suit. From Venezuela, Sebastian Fernandez for RB Racing in the Express chassis has been superb throughout the weekend. This is the country that gave us the former Spanish F1 Grand Prix winner Pastor Maldonado, a former Super 8 kart racer himself, Maldonado. Eliseo Merono Martinez from Spain with the Praga Kart Racing team. Just being wished good luck by his mechanic now. Well, the rain stopped. It's passed out to our east. It's now pouring rain over Otranto and the Adriatic Sea. Noah Milell from Sweden on screen in the X-Prix card. Perfectly still, perfectly clear. Quite a bit overcast, but very, very wet. Davide Lombardo from the north of Italy on screen in the Express chassis. The girls clear the grid. The photographers remain. All the karting world media here at La Conca Muro Lecese for the first round of the WSK Champions Cup. Have a look at this guy, Nicola Abruzzi, number 310 for Baby Race. What a character this kid is. Former winner of the Vortex Rock International Final. Valentino Rossi is his idol. That's Yi Fei. But going back to Abruzzi, he calls himself the little doctor, Il Dottorino. His mechanic, Piero Saponaro, former mechanic in karting to a driver who now does some promotional work for Red Bull. You might know him, Daniel Kvyat. Kvyat formerly with the Tony Kart Racing team. Abruzzi now has his mechanic. He starts out of the 6th row of the grid, in fact. Nicola Abruzzi. As one kart struggling to fire, it is the Ward Racing entry of Konsta Lappalainen. Well, that's bad luck for the Finn, but out of pole position, Logan Sargent from the USA alongside Christian Lundgaard. Then it's Yu Yang Sung, Felipe Drugovich, Kushmani, Frederic Vesti, Jean-Baptiste Simenois, Sebastian Fernandez. Then we have Noah Milel, Elisio Merono Martinez, Davide Lombardo, Muhyiddin Abdul bin Ghaffar from Malaysia, Peter Martono for Baby Race all the way from Jakarta, Indonesia, was racing the Rotax Max Challenge at Sepang in Kuala Lumpur just 7 days to go, where it was about 30 degrees warmer than it is right now. Peter Martono starts on the 7th row of the grid. He has Nicola Abruzzi alongside. They're ahead of Kenny Rossens, Bogdan Fetisov, Yi Fei Ye, who we saw on screen a moment ago, the Spanish driver Davide Vidales for Energy Kart, and on the 10th row of the grid from Russia for Danilo Rossi-Kart, Sergei Travnikov, alongside Giorgio Emiliano Carrara from Argentina. They go through to complete their first formation lap. Huge spray plumes of water on the start-finish straight. They try to form up in some sort of order. Not easy given the conditions. There is a lot of standing water out on the track. This is the final event for the afternoon. The KF Junior Final. We had 53 drivers from all around the world. We've whittled it down to 34. Almost a dry line, it looks, in parts of the circuit. But in other parts, the bitumen is very, very wet indeed. Logan Sargent for Ricky Flynn Motorsport on pole position from Florida in the United States of America. That's the Energy Kart going through now. Number 320, Davide Vidales, who we just spoke of, from Spain. Down through the center chicane on their second formation lap. 20 laps the distance. I'm sorry, 20 kilometers the distance, 16 laps of this 1.25 kilometer La Conca circuit. Logan Sargent, he's the pole sitter. He dictates the pace. The final word goes to the race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari. When he's happy with the grid, the four red lights will go out and we will be racing. The field looks good. They accelerate up to the start-finish line, and the race is green. Logan Sargent, a nice start into the opening turn to lead these 34 drivers in this KF Junior Final. They've all miraculously managed to get through turn 1 and turn 2 without incident. It's the double right-hander now. Over the ripple strip goes Christian Lundgaard. As the field settles itself down a little bit, Logan Sargent with a very high line, maximum lock on that Alonso Kart chassis. Up into third place already is the Energy Kart of Bogdan Fetisov. That's him in the middle of your screen. The yellow helmet. Christian Lundgaard from Denmark in second. So we've got an American leading a Dane, leading a Russian. Sun Yu Yang back in sixth spot, climbs over the ripple strip. The front of that kart of Lundgaard is absolutely filthy from the mud, the water, the spray that's come up on this opening lap. Leading them across the line for the first time all the way from the USA, Logan Sargent, down into turn 1 with 15 laps remaining for the young American. I won't say can he hold on because there's a long, long way to go. He has to race to the victory if he can do it. But the driver on the charge, oh, in fact, it's Frederic Vesti who's gone round. He's looped it. Vesti has gone round after a sensational start from the third row of the grid. Oh, he was looking good. He's way, way, way back down the field now. This is a replay. Up the inside, he made the pass. Logan Sargent says, hey, where are you going? He crosses in front of the race leader. He led for about 1 meter. Logan Sargent saw him go drifting past him, says, hey, if you want to turn in like that, be my guest. Fetisov, after a great start, is effectively out of it. Logan Sargent climbs over the ripple strip. Christian Lundgaard in the Tony kart right behind him. I thought he was almost going to be in front of him there. The kart is filthy. That's from all the dirt on the center chicane. They accelerate up the start-finish line. A look over the shoulder that time. The orange helmet of Christian Lundgaard. Kushmani now up into 5th spot. The driver from India. There he goes through in the black race suit to the left of your screen. That's Lundgaard, the orange helmet. The 305 Tony kart. Felipe Drugovic from Brazil now in 3rd spot. The Cosmic entry powered by Vortex. All these drivers on Vega tyres, the Vega wet tyres, official partner of WSK Promotion for the 2015 Champions Cup season. Eliseo Merono Martinez in the Praga kart, now up into 7th spot. Logan Sargent, look at the line they're taking. I was going to say through the chicane, but they're climbing over it. You could stand on the outside of the track and not get hit by a cart. It's 8 metres wide, this La Conca circuit, 10 metres in parts. You could stand on the racing line and you would not get hit because they're shortcutting that chicane like it's the only way through. You'd think we're watching FIA rallycross here at La Conca, especially through that centre chicane. The conditions are woeful. It has stopped raining, but it is still very, very wet. Fastest lap of the race for Drugovic. Lundgaard leads, but temporarily he went in too deep. That's twice that Logan Sargent has been passed, twice that he's watched his lead disappeared, but twice he's thought, I'll get you back on the exit, no problem at all. We saw Vesti try it, Lundgaard tried it again. Sargent, a very intelligent young racer. Here's the replay. Sargent's watching him. He says, I know I'll get you on the exit. He's already got the drive off the corner and pulls away. Lundgaard, he's going to have to try again. He's closed up on the back of the American. Here comes the Brazilian, very close. Through the center chicane. No. Over the center chicane. Look at the mud and debris they're dragging onto the track. These karts are filthy. Sideways over the ripple strip goes Drugovic. And now up into 4th spot, the driver we spoke of from India, Kushmani, into 4th place. Forza Racing, this is the team that gave us Igor Stupenkov in the KF Senior Final just a few moments ago. They know how to set up a kart. They've got the Indian into 4th, and Ward Racing have got their Tony kart driver into 1st. Drugovic leads temporarily. Sargent this time has to concede. Lundgaard, he's got the drive on the exit. Fastest laps being traded by all sorts of drivers, including Kenny Roosens down into 14th place. The yellow flag is being displayed into turn 1. This is the pass from the lead. This time he made it stick. The Dane, Christian Lundgaard, drove Sargent offline. Quite legally, you could say. Drugovic says, hey, there's a big gap here. I'll have a piece of that. But he couldn't get the drive out of the corner. Drugovic goes through to 2nd, but we've lost Logan Sargent. Sargent has spun. Oh, no. The American has spun. Let's watch the replay. He's gone backwards, tries to get the boot into it, accelerate. Whoa, a tragedy. He still showed as the leader on our screen, but he's not. The leader is Lundgaard. Let's see where Sargent comes across the line. He's in 5th place. Nice recovery from the American, but he was leading the opening laps. Got it all wrong going into the chicane and looped it. This time Drugovic is looking for the lead. He's all over the back of the Dane. Felipe Drugovic from Brazil in the Cosmic kart, chasing down the Tony kart from Ward Racing. Wheel spinning under acceleration ever so slightly. Drugovic. In 3rd spot, there goes Kushmani, Forza Racing, the team from the United Kingdom, with an Indian driver. Oh, over the ripple strip, Lundgaard He almost did the same thing that Logan Sargent did a moment ago. Look how dirty the kart is of Felipe Drugovic. Dirt all over that machine, but it's the quick way through the chicane. Just adjust the carburetor. Locks it up a little bit sideways under brakes into turn one. Christian Lundgaard goes through. He's with Ward Racing, the team that's given us countless drivers over the years. Heikki Kovalainen drove for this team with Tony Kart in Formula Super A back in the day. Susie Stoddart, you might know her as Susie Wolf. She finished 15th in the World Championships way back in 2000 for Ward Racing, one of the most professional teams in Europe. They've got their driver out into the lead. 3:05, Christian Lundgaard. Still continues to lead. Nikita Volkov now up into 9th place after starting 22nd on the grid. Can see the bottom of the screen. Have a look there. Number 23, Muizzedin Ghaffar, is now down into 23rd spot after being in the top 10 consistently all weekend. There's Noah Watt, also the young Dane, son of the former DTM racer and Formula 3000 driver Jason Watt. Noah was in the top 10 all weekend also. He's now down in 26th and struggling. Lundgaard across the line. 10 laps to go. This is a close-up of the young Dane over the ripple strip. Maximum lock on that kart. Look how filthy that radiator is. Overheating's not a problem here today. The karts aren't at maximum RPM for a lot of the lap. It's very, very wet, and it's only about 8 degrees Celsius here at La Conca Muro Laccese. Fastest lap of the race last time round for Christian Lundgaard in the Tony Kart. Lifts the inside rear, even in the wet. Such is the grip that these karts generate. Still passing 100 kilometres an hour in a straight line despite these woeful conditions. Oh, inside wheels on the grass going into the corner that time. You can see the gap on your screen, both timed and visual. That's Lundgaard. Smashes over the ripple strips. So let's have a look. We've got a Dane leading a Brazilian, leading an Indian, leading a Chinese, leading an American, leading a Spaniard, leading a Russian, leading an Indonesian, leading an Italian. What an international field we've got here for the WSK Champions Cup. Race number 1 here on the first day of February 2015. The most competitive championships with respect to all others in the world of professional kart racing on one of the world's greatest race circuits, La Conca Muro Laccese, here in Puglia, the region in the south of Italy. Nicola Abruzzi, who we spoke of, is down in 16th place ahead of the Brit semi-worship. Frederic Vestes recovered from that first lap incident. He's still in 18th spot, one ahead of the Spaniard, Davide Vidales. This is half race distance, a bit of a line starting to form out on the track. I won't say dry line, because it's certainly not that. But a bit of a line clear of, with the exception of the centre chicane, clear of debris, rubber, and too much standing water. Starting to build up a little bit of rhythm now is the Dane Christian Lundgaard. Accelerates up the start-finish line. They have passed half race distance. That's a close-up of the Brazilian who locks it up going into turn 1. Over the ripple strip still quite smoothly is Christian Lundgaard. Another of the Danes, another young blonde kid who knows how to drive a kart really, really fast. 3:05 for Ward Racing. Fastest lap of the race thus far, 1 minute 12.2. He's half a second faster than the rest of the field. Drugovic is the only other driver in the 1 minute 12 second bracket. Every other driver, 1 minute 13 or above. Fastest sector, as I say that though, goes to Alicio Merono Martinez. He's there in 6th spot, driving the Praga kart powered by the LKE engine. That's Drugovic from Brazil. being represented in F1 this year by Felipe Massa and Felipe Nasre. Unfortunately, a bit of bad news coming out of Brazil with their opening race of the IndyCar Championship being cancelled for this year around Brasilia. But nevertheless, a country with a long, long history in the world of motorsport. We know the surnames Piquet, Fittipaldi, Senna. And we're starting to know the surname Felipe Drugovich, in second spot in KF Junior, the WSK Champions Cup Junior Final here at La Conca. That's Kushmani on screen from India. That's Lungard over the ripple strips. Look at the chassis flex from Kushmani. Forza Racing, the team from the United Kingdom, and have a look at the airbox, all taped up to stop water getting into those 125cc engines. Maney using the Vortex engine, as is your race leader, Christian Lungard. Logan Sargent, not a bad recovery from the young American. Remember, he looped it going into the center chicane about 7 or 8 laps ago. He's still holding on to 5th spot, but he's got the Spaniard charging behind him. Eliseo Merono Martinez. Sargent just going through on screen now. He's actually up into 4th. He's got the better of his RFM teammate, Sun Yu Yang. Nikita Volkov from Russia in 7th spot after starting on grid number 22. The Dane leads the Brazilian, leads the Indian, leads the American, leads the Chinese, the Spaniard, the Russian, the Italian, the Brit, well, the Swiss, I should say, with the British license. And rounding out the top 10, we have the Indonesian Peter Martono, winner of the WSK Final Cup at Adria International Raceways just 2 months ago. The first major international win of his young career. Peter Presley Martono. Yes, Presley is his middle name. No, his parents are not huge Elvis fans. And just as I say that, it starts to rain once again. The track's already wet. We have passed half race distance. We're coming up to 3/4 race distance. Lungard continues to lead. The gap is more than visual than you can see on your screen. Goes through the double right-hander now. It's about 4 seconds back to the Brazilian Felipe Drugovich. Kushmani now coming under a little bit of pressure from the American Logan Sargent. What a recovery it's been, but gee, where would he have been if he didn't do a complete 360 going into the center chicane on the 4th or 5th lap of the race? Sargent is looking at a podium position if he can chase down the Indian driver, Kushmani. Already eyeing opportunities in F4 is the young Indian. But still a lot of work to be done in the world of kart racing for these drivers. A lot of them anxious to get on with their car racing careers, but let's remember the top drivers race karts for many, many years. They didn't do just a year or two of karting to say they'd done it. Jarno Trulli won his first World Karting Championship at the age of 17 and then continued to race karts for another 5 years after that. Cars was almost an afterthought. He was in no hurry. He went on to win the Monaco Grand Prix in 2006. Lungard looking good for a win here this afternoon with 2.5 laps to go. Lap traffic starting to come into play. Unfortunately, we've lost the Russian Sergei Travnikov. Danilo Rossi kart is parked on the start-finish straight. He will be a non-finisher here this afternoon. We'll be back in 7 days to fight for the win once again for the DR team. The new Danilo Rossi DR92 and DR99-15 chassis in use here this weekend. Of course, it's a new year, a new homologation year for all the chassis manufacturers here in the world of karting. And a lot of new names, a lot of old, very, very famous names. I don't say old with any disrespect, but a lot of very experienced drivers to join us for the WSK Super Master Series in a month's time. That's Lundgaard. He's driving superbly. We can just about read the dash on his steering wheel. Lundgaard, the gap is 5.5 seconds. Now back to Drugovic. I can see the last lap board being readied for the young Dane next time around. Drugovic is too far back to mount a challenge. Good sportsmanship for the young German, Niklas Kruten, waving through your race leader. That's Kruten just in front. The young driver for Forza Racing, the 3119 machine, that's him, the black racer, the yellow helmet. Over the ripple strip, through the ripple strip in fact, for the second to last time. The last lap board is being ready. Through the McLaren curves. He looks back over his shoulder. Felipe Drugovic is way behind him, 5.5 seconds behind him. He's got 1.25 kilometers to go to record his first win of the year. That's Drugovic coming through now. Into third spot is in fact Nicola Abruzzi. Wow, where did he come from? He was back in 14th place. Nicola Abruzzi, how did he do that? Apologies that we missed it, but Il Dottorino is now up into third place. I'm not sure if that's official or not, because he's done a 56-second last lap time. I'm not sure that's correct. Logan Sargent, I believe, is third on the road officially. Nevertheless, no one's going to hunt down the Dane, the leader, Christian Lundgaard, through the Ascari curves for the last time. This is the centre chicane. This is the most treacherous part of the track in the wet. Through the chicane, over the chicane, in fact, smashes through the ripple strip, drags the mud onto the track with him as every other driver's done this afternoon. One corner to go for the young driver from Ward Racing. The winner, WSK Champions Cup KF Junior from Denmark, Christian Lundgaard. He wins it. What a drive, what a win for the young Dane. Felipe Drugovic from Brazil comes home in second spot. And a fantastic recovery. Arguably the driver of the race, the young American Logan Sargent. Kushmani one step off the podium in fourth. Then it was Sun Yu-Ying, Nikita Volkov in sixth. Davide Lombardo in seventh. Eliseo Marino Martinez. Clement Novalak, the young Swiss driver, was ninth. And rounding out the top 10 from La France, Jean-Baptiste Simon Roy. That's your winner on screen in very, very trying conditions. Ward Racing from Sweden wraps up another victory in the world of international karting. Fantastic sportsmanship between the first and second place getters, Lundgaard and Drugovic. Drugovic from Brazil, where it's the middle of the night there approximately at the moment. Hi to all our friends watching in Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Belo Horizonte, and all of South America. Your driver, Felipe Drugovic, has finished in second place on the podium for the opening round of the WSK Champions Cup at La Conca Muro Lecce. They pull into Parc Ferme. I can tell you the clouds are starting to form again here in the south of Italy. It's only about 7 degrees as we speak. It's very, very wet. It's wet. It's quite still. It's quite eerie, in fact. We had some thunder early on. The clouds getting very, very black. But the racing has concluded with a win for the young Dane, Christian Lundgaard. Felipe Drugovic, fantastic recovery for Logan Sargent into third spot. Well done to Kushmani from India, ahead of the Chinese driver, Sun Yu-Yang, the Russian Nikita Volkov, and Davide Lombardo from Italia rounds out the top 6. Wow, that was sensational. We're going to have the podium presentations in just a few moments. Lundgaard, being a Dane, speaks perfect English, of course, as well as his native Danish. This is a replay of the start. The Ricky Flynn Motorsport team, they were looking confident when the lights went green. Logan Sargent, the American, led well. Remember, he had 2 attacks. That was Vesti looping it after he led for about 0.001 of a second. Lundgaard had a look at the lead. He took it temporarily, but Sargent took it back. Opposite lock over the centre chicane. That was Lundgaard going through into the lead properly. Sargent couldn't respond. Drugovic looking over his shoulder. And that was the American looping it backwards into the centre chicane. He dropped back to about 6th position, but did recover nicely onto the podium. But from this point, it was the young Dane Christian Lundgaard for Ward Racing of Sweden in the Tony Kart, powered by Vortex, gripped with Vega tyres, who would go on to take a sensational win. First major international win of the season for Lundgaard, Drugovic, and the American Sargent. So we've got a Dane, a Brazilian, and a driver from the United States of America. That is going to be our podium in just a few moments' time. Hopefully we get it underway before we get another downpour here in Puglia, South Italy. Your winner in Parc Ferme to join us on the podium in just a few moments, Christian Lundgaard. Stay with us. We'll have the podium presentation as soon as we can make our way there, along with the grid girls, these magnificent trophies who are half the driver's height, in just a few moments. This is the WSK Champions Cup Round 1, coming to you from La Conca, Muro Lacese, Puglia in southern Italy. We'll be back with the podium presentation in just a few moments.
What a sensational final that was. The KF Junior class rounding out round 1 of the WSK Champions Cup for 2015. Please welcome to the podium, what a recovery this was, the young American all the way from the USA, Logan Sargent. In 3rd place from Brazil, Felipe Drugovic. And your winner, KF Junior for Ward Racing Tony Kart from Denmark. Please welcome to the top step of the podium, Christian Lundgaard. A huge round of applause, un grande applauso per nostro vincitore, for our winner from Denmark, Christian Lundgaard. Let's stand by for the national anthem of Denmark. A huge round of applause. That's our podium for KF Junior. Third place, Logan Sargent from the United States. From Brazil, Felipe Drugovic in second. And your winner from Denmark, Christian Lundgaard.